feelings hurt. Read this.
Hello.
Hey.
Echo. Karman Line Short Review. This is Karman Line Short Review, the only place in the universe where you can watch 3 cursed filmmakers reviewing your short films, the user-submitted short films made by the true artists, indie filmmakers of the world.
True artists.
In the best medium of art.
Yes.
Once
again, we do not do this voluntarily. We have no passion for reviewing short films.
Yep.
We don't want to do this.
No, we have
to do this.
But we are forced to by our overlord Payman. Bless his name.
Bless his heart.
Hail Payman.
Hail Payman.
So let's just get this over with.
Right. Okay, well, today we have a movie called... there we go. The Tale of Michael the Waiter.
The Tale of Michael the Waiter.
By Michael the Waiter.
By Michael the Waiter.
Oh, you forgot the comma.
Oh. The Tale of Michael the Waiter. This is by Mason Axe?
Axl Rose?
Axe? Not Axl Rose.
Oh. Interesting point.
Yes.
Not related to Axe body spray.
Yes.
I checked.
Really?
Oh, really?
No relation.
How many times has that joke happened to this poor man?
Not enough. Not enough times.
Not enough times. Let's do some more.
Has this poor man ever been cursed by a demon? Ooh, boo, his name is Axe. Oh, so sad.
But what if he has been cursed by a demon?
Oh, well, then I sincerely empathize.
Yeah.
And sympathize.
And I can't think of any more I's.
Okay, let's get started. This is our first impressions.
First.
Oh, right. Let's do a synopsis.
And then we're going to do a synopsis now.
Let's do a synopsis.
This is crazy.
Do
Me?
a synopsis.
Okay. So, the Tale of Michael the Waiter begins with young Michael, who is looking for a job and seems to not really care about the job, but he gets it anyway. And then it's his journey through all of learning to be a waiter and all the hardships and funny things that go along with being a waiter.
It just sucks. Apparently it just sucks.
To be a waiter?
Yes.
Yeah. I've never been a waiter, so I've heard...
I've met some happy waiters.
Yeah.
So what else happens?
That's about it, really.
That's the story.
That's the story.
Yeah. In terms of synopsis, I'm not trying to...
Michael becomes a waiter, and he hates it.
Yeah, I'm not trying to give a beat-by-beat lowdown, you know? You got to leave the synopsis. You got to leave them, like, intrigued to go watch it, you know? That's how...
It's a log line.
Exactly.
It's a
elevator
pitch.
Elevator pitch, so we're not synopsizing.
We're elevator pitching.
Yes, this is now an elevator pitch.
Which is also a sex move.
Ooh, the elevator pitch.
It's one of my favorites.
You ever elevator pitched?
What shirt is that?
What shirt is this? This is the Sax Show.
Cool.
That's a weird shirt, man.
That's weird.
So.
Okay, that covers the synopsis. I think it's time for our
first impressions.
Once again, first impressions.
First impressions.
Here we go.
Kenny, what was your first impression?
My first impression was that I am convinced that the creative minds behind this film are funny people, and they're able to find humor in the everyday and the mundane very well. However, I didn't feel like this movie ever really caught me, and I think it's because there's just not a story here, and in place of the story was a lot of stuff that just kept taking me out of the movie, like this heavy use of
the titles,
comedic titles popping up, going ding 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 ding, which just made me stop being in a movie.
Yeah, makes you very aware.
Yeah, and it was a clever gimmick, but it was just too much. It was just a little too much. But funny ideas. Wish it went somewhere. Jake. We are. I was just gonna say hi.
Hi, Jake.
Hey, Jake.
Hey.
Jake.
There's a demon in the void named Jake. He's a good guy.
Good guy.
Oh my God.
Yes, he sounds scary.
Yeah, the titles. So, anything else?
That's really it. Just funny. This was a collection of funny ideas related to a central theme of being a waiter sucks.
Yeah, I pretty much agree entirely. I think there's a pretty strong vision here. I think there was definitely a specific style that they set out to create and a certain kind of vibe they were going for with their comedy, and so I appreciated that creativity, but I did find that it became a little bit repetitive, a little bit dull. Maybe it's because of the mixing, because the titles just get really loud and in the way, and I felt like a lot of the titles ended up being there just for the sake of being there rather than having an actual comedic point to it. And that's kind of how I felt about a lot of the humor here. Felt like it was just kind of there and didn't quite work for me for whatever reason, which I'm sure we'll discuss later. Yeah, that's pretty much about how I felt.
I felt the same way that you guys did. It was I didn't hear much of a story happening. I was kind of left on the I don't know, on a weird side of like the whole graphic thing, because I really do like having the graphics in the video. I like this this narration kind of thing that's happening, where we're talking about the things that are happening and at the same time showing them and having this cool kind of vision happening. But
Yeah.
it didn't. It didn't really flow for me. And I think it might be just because they're basically jokes that didn't really amount to anything other than this guy hates his job.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot of clever in this movie. I liked. I've seen a few movies do this where the voice of the narrator, when there's actually a spoken narrator, is the voice of someone who isn't a part of the movie. It's a completely separate entity and therefore like even more omniscient. That way, I always thought that's kind of cool.
Yeah. I kind of I like these parts. When they're talking about the like describing the emojis.
I thought that was
funny.
I thought that was neat. I didn't understand why she was talking to him in the first place.
Yeah, see, and that's I think where
like
the flow.
The setup was like, oh, don't talk to me, I have a boyfriend, and now they're texting each other.
And now they're texting,
and I'm like,
right.
Why are they texting each other?
Yeah, so that was a little strange.
Yeah, some character development, a little more story, and like a purpose would have taken this movie a long way, I think.
I would have, but you have a boyfriend, lol.
Lol.
Man, that makes him sound like a dick. I would have
part?
stayed, but you have a boyfriend. That's the only reason I would have stayed.
No, he said I would have said goodbye.
Oh.
Didn't even say goodbye because she had a boyfriend.
Well, so that's even more of a dick move.
Yeah.
Then.
Well, we have no reason to like the main character.
That's true.
He's not necessarily likable or not.
No.
We just don't have anything to go off of.
Nope.
I think he's just as non-likable as he is likable.
And he smiles like a virgin.
And that's just the problem. No one smiles different when they've had sex.
No, watch this.
Oh, you're a virgin.
Oh, dude, you haven't fucked.
Oh man.
I'm just married. I haven't had sex.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Abstinence in marriage.
Yeah.
Good on you.
But watch this.
Oh, you're a perv. Put those teeth away, you perv.
Okay, let's go to our first category, which is directing. What to say about directing? There was a very strong vision here.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think
next
there's
one.
No, I think there's plenty of evidence of a strong directing hand, especially on location when they were shooting.
Yeah.
I felt like this is all very happening intentionally and coming from one creative force, which means a good director. I'm just going out on a limb. I feel like all of this like pop-up title stuff was an afterthought. Like I feel like it was added.
I kind of feel that way.
I don't know if it was intentional from the beginning.
Yeah, and if it turns out that it was actually intentional from the beginning, like I have to wonder why we feel like it was an afterthought.
Right.
You know?
Well, because I feel like the movie might be stronger without it.
I think it would be.
And
I
so
think it definitely would be.
I do see that as a thing where it's like you pick up your move. Well, I don't know. They hang on shots like that long enough for all those titles to pop up.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
That suggests that it is intentional, but they do feel like a kind of thing where a filmmaker gets into post and goes, I'm a little self-conscious about this. Is it really that funny? How can we make it funnier? And start doing wacky stuff like this.
It does feel a little bit that way.
I wonder if it's a little bit of like half and half, where like some of the name ones were meant to be that way, but the like the salad one or like all the ingredients there, this stuff,
Yeah.
were all afterthoughts. Because when these ones started popping up, it really felt like they were purposeless. Like I felt like there was no real joke going on here. It's just basically text popping up saying exactly what the characters were saying. They're like, oh, that's not sanitary. There's salads with cheese.
Right. And
Meat,
then there was
I think this is supposed to all be his perspective. Like, this is what
Yeah.
he sees.
this guy.
Yeah.
That was ludicrous.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't feel like that those texts really added much. But the stuff where it introduced the characters, I felt like there was an idea of that beforehand. But I don't know. Could be wrong. Who
Well,
knows?
That's interesting.
The idea of bringing up a title to introduce a character, right? Whenever a new character goes,
Yeah.
bing, here's their name, here's a funny little byline.
Yeah.
But then filling the screen with 6 other things on
Yeah.
top of that could be the afterthought.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe they upped it.
I mean, because I like this stuff when it's done, for lack of a better term, intentionally. Because, like you said, it could have been intentional here. But, like, I don't know, the movie that comes to mind is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. That one had a lot of this. Not a lot of it, but had some of it.
Yeah.
And that stuff was really funny. And there was even, like, one... He had a little thing called... he went to the bathroom and his pee bar went down. Do you remember
Yeah.
this? Like, that was surely an afterthought. But it was still really funny. And I'm not sure why exactly. I don't know.
They did like a comic book style thing with that,
Yeah.
right?
Well, because they were trying to emulate a comic book,
Right.
basically. But even so, I mean, these people are still doing the title thing, and it still feels like that. It feels almost comic booky, but, like, why wouldn't it work?
So I just watched Spider-Verse, which has
They
lots
had
of
a lot
that
of that.
stuff.
Yeah.
And I felt it was the best it had ever been done. Best I'd ever seen it done. So why does it work there and is obnoxious here? I'm not sure.
It really feels like it was not intended from the beginning. It really does feel that way.
Sounds like something to bring up in our question section.
You know, actually, the Spider-Verse thing that you were talking about, I think that those titles actually had something to do with the story.
Yes.
And even the ones in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World still had something to do with the story. I think, like, even, like, the little P-bar thing that popped up, I think was still, like, it's going to sound weird, but, like, I feel like it's an expressive nature of the character. Like, that was, I don't know. I don't know what else to say about that. It's different.
But yes, it definitely moved the story forward in Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Here it didn't move a story forward, but nor is there much of a story to move forward.
Right.
So maybe these titles would have carried some weight and mattered to us more if we were going somewhere.
Yeah. I think they have comedic value because they're unexpected, but then they keep repeating.
Then they become expected.
And then they become expected.
Yeah.
And so they need to do something else, something different.
Yep.
Yeah,
you
that's
got
what it is.
That is
Yeah.
it right there.
Yeah.
Cool.
As far as the shots go, though, I thought
It's well shot.
directing wise, I thought it was really interestingly set up. Like we have a lot of center weighted stuff, and you don't see that a lot in especially these kinds of films, short films. You don't see a lot of center weighted shots. I like that. It's just interesting to look at.
I felt like there was a lot of waiter inside talk. Like a lot of this was jokes for people who've been waiters.
Yeah.
Who will really think the line at the end where it's like, waiters get treated like garbage, so be nice. Will be like, yeah.
You know what talk about the best part of this movie?
That's a fake stat right there.
The best part of this movie being the scene where our main character gets relocated to a different
To the
section.
lower 30s.
Yeah, and there's a lot of there's like world building for this section.
This part was awesome.
This was the best part of the movie, for sure.
Yeah.
One, it was the introduction of good sound.
Yeah.
It was finally, yeah.
And it also kind of told an engaging mini story within there that set up like maybe it was setting up like the rules of the world.
There was better storytelling in this little sequence than there was in the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I would agree. I would absolutely agree.
It was setting up lore, basically.
It was setting up lore, yeah. And I think that's where their
restaurant lore,
their graphic capabilities came into play like better, because it's just description and just purely description, and they're talking about it because it'll affect the main character, but it's not exactly about the main character.
Yeah,
you know. So that's interesting.
Kind of felt like when in a heist movie when they're getting a plan together.
Yeah.
Even though the content's way different, but like it had that feel to it.
Yeah, it's like you're gearing up for something.
Yeah.
You know, you're taking us along for the ride, like it's a visual storytelling.
That's stupid.
What?
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, D.
It's okay.
You're freaking out.
It's okay.
Visual storytelling.
Oh my God.
No.
Shall we move on to more directing?
Move on to more directing.
More directing.
More? Or should we move on to sound? Was sound our other one?
What else could be said about the direction?
A lot. How about the people's performances?
I really like the manager.
I have a qualm with the manager. Which is kind of weird because qualm means...
Don't qualm me, man.
Means worried.
Are you worried about it?
I'm worried about the manager. This was also a bit odd choice, the censor thing.
I thought
Don't say the name of the restaurant.
Right. Was that a film joke?
Fictional.
Is that supposed to be a film joke?
I don't know.
Because they were supposed to actually say the name of the restaurant.
I don't get
I wonder
it.
if this is actually about a specific restaurant. That'd be interesting, this whole thing. And he shows it to the employees, and they all have a laugh.
I've seen 2 stand-up comedy routines, different comedians, where they base their whole routine on their experiences as a waiter at the Cheesecake Factory.
This doesn't look like cheese.
Unrelated. I just thought that was kind of funny.
This dude had a problem for me because he exuded confidence to me, and I thought that was really cool. And he was looking down upon our main character, which I also thought was cool because it created a neat dynamic between the two. But then he gets hired anyway, and you told me that maybe that's highlighting the fact that the manager has no power.
Right. They don't have a choice. They just have to take whoever comes.
Yeah. And if that was the intent to express here, I felt like it was a missed opportunity. I didn't see that at all. I saw a character who was put in here and then thrown away. You know, the manager is here, but we're not going to do anything with him. That's kind of what I felt like.
I thought his decision to hire the guy was just to be funny. Like set up all the opposite all the opposite expectations and then just get him hired anyway.
That's funny. I like that.
Anyone could be hired as a waiter. Guess that's the story.
Is that the joke? Is there supposed to be a joke there?
I don't know.
Okay, well, let's move on to sound.
This sound was kind of all over the place.
This had some weird mixing issues.
Really weird mixing issues. The dings were way too loud. The dialogue was too quiet. The music was too loud.
Ambient sound.
Yeah.
You know, it was like they had mics that were just really far away. It felt like.
Yeah.
And then they had like narration that was super clear, but also by someone completely different.
Yeah.
Who
I thought that was kind of cool.
Well, I don't know. Halfway into the movie, it's by someone who we've never heard of.
Quentin Tarantino did that in Hateful Eight.
And I didn't like it.
Oh. And you could tell it was Quentin Tarantino's voice.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was kind of weird, actually. Maybe I was just relieved that it was good sound. It's like, I can hear this guy.
Yeah, this was good recording compared to the others. At least.
Yeah, I get the feeling that it was a camera. It was a mic, an onboard mic. So a lot of like pro camcorder, like those big pro Sonys.
I mean, but these guys
often have that condenser mic on top.
Like one of them sounded good. Like.
Katie, with a K.
Oh, maybe not.
Katie, come clean up this kid's puke. Got it, boss.
I don't know. He sounded. I don't know. He sounded clear.
You know what's weird is the music was too loud,
Yeah.
but also felt too quiet. Like,
What does that mean?
like it was. I think it's because it wasn't super loud in the mix, but
Yeah.
it was at the same volume as the dialogue,
Right.
and so they clash.
Yeah.
So it's not like obviously too loud, but like you can't hear what's going on
Right.
because they're clashing.
Yeah. I want to say that that you can have bad sound and still have your vision be really good, and I think this vision kind of like relied heavily on sound and
Sure.
and the sound being correct, because
It's dialogue driven.
yeah, well,
You don't really see anyone do anything.
Exactly. Yeah, it's dialogue driven. And like with the joke here where he says Katie with a K, the idea that they crossed it out and put Katie with a K means that you should have heard that, right? So that needs to be a clear
Yeah,
line.
like in an Edgar Wright montage.
Yeah.
And all the whip pans that are like, boom, boom.
Exactly.
A lot of sound effects for stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, the sound, the dings needed to be way less quiet, or way more quiet, way less loud. Yeah, and I don't know, some of the sound effects could have been quieter too.
Yeah, they just needed to get a mic closer to the talking people.
Yeah.
I felt like whatever they had, it was far away and it was gathering the entire restaurant.
It's probably just on board.
All right, on to questions.
Question time.
Question time.
Oh, this is the time where we ask questions directly to the filmmaker. We hope that you will respond and give us your answers here in the comments below. And everyone else, ask your own questions. Maybe we missed something you picked up on. Please chime in. Or if you love this movie and feel like we're being dickish, you can just call us up
dickish.
on it.
Dickish.
Lil Dickish. You
Big
can call
dickish.
us on, call us on it and troll us and all that kind of stuff.
That's so cringy to say troll us.
Oh, am I too cringy for you, D?
You are.
Sorry, I make you cringe.
That's pretty cringy. Ooh, that's cringy.
This is making me wince.
Ooh, so wincy.
You're wincing.
Your wincing is making me cringe. Oof.
You're cringing and you're wincing. It's really making me
Secondhand embarrassed.
uncomfortable,
Oh.
annoyed.
Oh, your annoyance is making me excited.
Questions.
Do you have any?
Can we ask questions already?
Do you have a question?
Yes.
Well, ask them.
First question is, did you intend all of the text-based gags before shooting, or did you come up with some of them in post-production?
Cool. I would ask you if you could identify what this movie is about. What would that be? Is it? And that'd be my question.
Who are you influenced by? It can be filmmakers or just any artist in general. What influences you to make the films that you make?
I see a pretty big Steven Soderbergh and what's his name?
Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright. Yes.
Little
Yes.
Soderbergh.
And is this based on your own experiences as a waiter? You feel like a waiter who hates being a waiter. That's what I gather.
Well, definitely. I think that's definitely at least that.
You feel like a waiter.
And cut.